attracting younger crowds.
Look, I'm coming straight off of slumps. A crazy motherfucker named Nipsey. I'm turned up cause I grew up in the 60s.
I try to tell my story from the perspective of somebody that's completely unaware of the culture of gangbang. Completely, like, if they was living in a cave for the last 20 years. I try to say what I gotta say and express myself to where even a person from that background can understand it. You know what I mean? That's totally unfamiliar with the culture of the streets of LA, totally unfamiliar with the legacy of LA music, but we still totally get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Understand my brain. But yeah, that's one of the biggest obstacles. You know, a lot of times artists either satisfy one or the other. They either satisfy the commercial audience, you know what I mean, or they satisfy the hardcore street audience. But you get certain instances like a Jeezy or like a 50 Cent or like a Jay-Z to where they transcend just people that come from a similar lifestyle and they start being a person that everybody can relate to. And I think, you know, a lot of that, I think people root for the underdog. So one of my biggest things is people like to see that I came from, you know, an environment and a lifestyle of nothing, you know what I'm saying? Have no handouts, no outlets, and no action at a record label or a studio or a person like Gang or Snoop Dogg to co-sign me with Dr. Dre. And then I've made it to where I'm at and continue to move forward. I think even if a person isn't familiar with the streets, like I said before, they can respect that and admire that and connect to it. I was influenced by hip-hop in general. So anybody that was a king at one point, that I was big, DMX, 50 Cent, Jeezy, I'm influenced by all of them. And to say I wouldn't would be a lie, you know what I mean? Like, I don't live in a vacuum, I listen to the radio, I watch TV and BT. So, you know, one thing that really made me connect to artists is that I feel they're being sincere. Like, you don't have to be a street artist for me to necessarily be a fan of yours. Like, I'm a big fan of Drake music. I'm a big fan of Kanye music. You know what I mean? I'm not categorizing them in the same category. I'm just saying, like, I didn't traditionally not be quote unquote gangster rappers. You know what I mean? I just like the fact that their music is honest. Like, I like Sade. I like a lot of type of music. It just, I gotta feel the sincerity in it and I connect to it. Yeah, I highlight though, if I gotta pick one, was when I first heard Hustle in the House on the radio, Power 106 in LA. You know what I mean? That was big for me. You know? Because I didn't compromise my music to get on the radio. That was a hardcore LA record. Power 106 is the top 10 radio station. I mean, they played hits off the Billboard charts. So when my movement became so strong in the streets that it trickled up to the radio without me soliciting myself, without a major label servicing it to the radio, it made me, it was like a hell of a motivation. Like, you know, I had to stop and pat myself on the back for a second. You know, I feel like we're in a renaissance. You know what I mean? Like we're in a rebuilding, we developing our new sound, and we moving into the future. You know what I mean? Like for years, it was 5 people that had a stronghold on the West Coast market. And nobody can be upset. Everybody got to respect it as what it is, you know, but that's just what it was. It was Drake, Snoop, Suge Knight, Ice Cube, and DJ Quick, you know what I mean? And other than that, it wasn't really, if you wasn't going through one of those people, there was no access to the industry as an LA artist, you know what I mean? So I think that right now we got artists like myself, Blasted Malone, J-Rock, 211, Problem, Game, obviously he's a star already, he's established himself, but he's still young and he still represent, you know, the culture of this next generation. So I think he played a big part in it. But I think that not only everybody doing their music, everybody is actually rallying behind each other. Like right now, Snoop got an album out. Everything he's been doing in LA to promote his album, every artist I just named been on the list at the events. Not only been on the list, been on stage with Snoop. Not only on stage doing their music, performing their songs. So to the fans of Snoop Dogg, they now become fans of 211, or fans of Rocket, or fans of Nipsey Hussle, or fans of Blasted Malone. And now when it's on Game and his album coming out, it's the same thing. Everybody gonna rally behind it. And when it's on me, it's gonna be the same thing. Everybody gonna rally behind it. And I think that's what we seen with Atlanta, that's what we seen with Miami. And now I feel like we're gonna see that again with LA.
Yeah. So you think that it will be better for California rap in 2010?
For sure. It already is. Like, you know, we wasn't getting money out here. Not from the music industry. We was in the streets. I don't do nothing no more. I rap. You know what I mean? My phone ringing. It's about bread. It's about some music. They want a verse or they want me to do a show. And I can name 5 or 6 other niggas that's in the same position that a couple years ago was in the county jail or on probation or had a dope spot or was sitting in a, you know, on a block somewhere. So I feel like it's definitely getting better now. It's gonna continue to get better. And when a new artist come out and actually become successful without Dr. Dre, without being signed to Snoop, without being signed to Game, without being signed to Death Row, that every label out here is gonna start opening up their checkbooks and signing, you know what I'm saying, they West Coast artists. We seen it happen everywhere. When, you know what I mean, when Snoop popped, the labels went to Long Beach and started finding anything from Long Beach. We got everything out of Long Beach when Snoop popped off, you know what I mean? It was the Dove Shack, Badass. Just countless artists that came from out of that area, you know what I mean, after Snoop popped off. So I feel like it's gonna be the same thing. When LA really produce another artist, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be me, you know what I mean? But when it happens, I think that the labels is gonna be a little bit less apprehensive about spending bread. And they gonna start giving people deals and actually taking risk again on West Coast artists. You know, we don't have no studios that we just got access to. We don't got no rich uncles. We don't got nobody in the industry that's in our family. You know what I mean? We don't have no, even in LA, we don't have a hip hop outlet. You know what I mean? Like in Atlanta or New York. It's only a couple labels out here. Them couple labels ain't really urban hip hop labels. So on top of that, we come from a real environment where it's a crab in a bucket mentality. Where, you know what I mean, everybody doing bad. So when one person starts to move forward and you know, become a little bit successful, but you still within reach of these people, it's very hard, because you know you're dealing with the pressures of trying to be successful, as well as the pressure of people intentionally waking up to try to bring harm your way. You know what I mean? And try to stop you from doing that. Because if I grew up on the same block you grew up on, and we had the same trials and tribulations, but you became successful and I became a failure, it made me feel a certain way about myself. Because we had the same, we were dealt the same deck of cards. You know what I mean? So I feel like my success affect the people closest to me the most. A person that don't know me might root for me, you know what I mean, and be happy for me. And a person that know me and come from the same environment and had the same cards dealt to them, that keep going to jail, don't have no money, never made their parents proud or their mama proud, never did anything that they could look in the mirror and be proud of. You know what I mean? It make them feel a certain way, and it's intense. And that shit manifests into jealousy, hate, violence. You know what I mean? And it's deep, because it's a stigma about artists becoming Hollywood, especially street artists going Hollywood. But it's almost like, if you don't, you're gonna sacrifice yourself for the opinions of others. You know what I mean? So people will look at you as, oh, you keep it real, instead of in your heart doing what you know you had to do to attain your goal. So like I said, it's a cold balance. I had to stop smoking weed just because I need my whole mind. I gotta use my whole brain. I can't be high making decisions. I gotta be fully sharp. You know what I mean? But I had to cut a lot of people off. There's a lot of people mad at me right now. But, you know, I had to make a decision that I'd rather other people be mad at me than I'd be mad at myself. You know?
Yeah, it's hustle in the house. Yeah, it's hustle in the house.